In order for the divinity in you to manifest itself in every way, you have to essentially humble your ego to the point that it's in its cage where it doesn't really exist, or exists in an incredibly minute level as far as your world outlook is concerned. Another one of the examples of that is your feeling about the past and the future. There is no past. It's only your fable. It's only what you made up about your past. On the other hand, there is no future. That which is coming is not knowable. In fact, Jesus was asked what's going to happen when you come back, and he said, I don't know. Because he fully and openly admitted he didn't know what was going to unfold in the future, because the future is undiscernible. It is, in fact, I've been reading some stuff on Y-bias angularity, which is a type of, it's a construct that talks about how energy comes out of the 0 point, which is the unlimited ocean of energy that's available to man, that will be available to mankind some kind of time in the future, where 1 cubic centimeter being approximately a half an inch, 1 cubic centimeter of this ether space, this ocean of energy that surrounds us, is theoretically enough to run the entire United States, its entire energy supply, for a year. In my guess, that's probably an underestimate. My guess is that every cubic centimeter of ether space can run the United States infinitely, forever, because each one of them controls or has an infinite amount of energy in it. And what that basically means is that as time goes along, no one knows what the future is going to be. It's only going to be what it's going to be, and you don't have that much that you can actually do about it. Because since the future is unknowable, your plans of how you're going to handle your future are completely a waste of time. So since you don't know the past and you don't know the future, well, you've made up the past and you don't know the future. All you have is the moment, the infinite moment right in front of you, which you have total and complete control over. You can move your finger to the left, you can move your finger to the right, but you can't move your finger to the left or right in the future, and the past is irrelevant because it's already over. The world has moved on from that particular motion or any other motion to the next infinite moment and the next infinite moment and the next infinite moment. So the people that are really advanced understand that you can reduce almost all of your stress simply by not worrying about the future and not belaboring the past, which are irrelevant, and only concentrating your energy, your focus on the moment. And Jesus Christ says this. All we have is the moment. All we have is the present. The rest of it doesn't mean anything. So here you have this person 2,000 years ago who is telling us in the small amount of things that he was quoted from. In the Bible, there's only a tiny amount of things that were actually directly quoted from Jesus Christ. Everything you need to know to understand the most highly advanced esoteric thinking that was ever devised by mankind. That's what he was. That's who he was. And I'm not proselytizing. I'm not talking about somebody being a Christian. I'm simply saying that this, even if you only think that he's a master, an ascended master, a great prophet, whatever, still, the things that he talks about, he's the only one of the masters that talked about love as the linchpin, unconditional love as the linchpin of how one should deal with the world. And he understood that was basically the thing that makes the universe work. This love energy that goes through everything out there is what provides you with the great power, the infinite power necessary to accomplish anything you want to. And being in the moment allows you to focus that energy into anything you want. The closer you are to loving everyone, that's how close you are to loving yourself completely and unconditionally. And that's the most powerful form of energetic expression that you can possibly have in accomplishing anything you want to in your life. So what I would say for people out there, let's say that you're concerned right now with financial failure, because that's what's concerning many, many people now. A tremendous percentage of the American populace is they're getting everything taken away from them, their house, their car, their job, their family. All these things are being taken away from or are leaving because of the tremendous stresses and also the reduction in economic viability of the country. What are you going to do to cope with it? The first thing you have to understand is there's nothing that you can personally do to change those things that are unfolding. What you basically learn to do is adapt, to see the situation as it actually is, not as you want it to be, and simply live within that construct. I just got through talking to a person on the phone here 15, 20 minutes ago. She has been a very, very successful person in her life, in her particular chosen profession. But that profession's opportunities are contracting significantly and have been contracting significantly for about a year. She's gone from being highly successful to barely surviving, literally just working herself to death for crumbs. And she says, what am I going to do about it? And I said, well, the first thing you have to understand is you don't know what's going to happen next. The economy can turn up, the economy can turn down. Let's make the assumption the economy turns down. The economy turns down more, you're going to have less and less and less. And what you're trying to do more than anything else is just make sure that you have a little bit more. In other words, wealth in this particular contracting economy is going to be defined by your survivability. One of the major components of survivability is peace of mind. If you know that if you're not receiving, if you know that you're not manifesting or not feeling large amounts of negativity, fear, those types of things, then it's more likely that you're going to be a survivor because you won't fall apart physically. Now, let's make the assumption that you're an older person, maybe in your 50s or 60s or something like that. How in the world do you survive and compete against young people? Well, it's very easy if you're energetically viable, which is what the Distance Energy Program, the Distance Water Program, and now the Tachyon 1 program do. They give you the capacity to survive and use your world experience, not in working for corporations, because in my opinion, that's highly passé. But we don't even know if corporations, as major corporations as they exist, are going to be around anymore. When you have these economic downturns, what happens is a whole new set of industries to cope with the downturn economy begin to grow. And these come from seemingly nowhere. And they grow and learn to cope with that particular mechanism. And the old corporations that don't have coping ability because of their size, because of their business model, whatever it might be, they simply just fall by the wayside. And I've had the good fortune of being in the stock market since 1973, when I started as a 26-year-old stockbroker. And I've watched these throwing offs of old corporations happen time and time again. I've watched Dow Jones Industrial stock cease to exist, W.T. Grant, International Harvester, now General Motors, now Chrysler Corporation, Johns Manville because of the asbestos lawsuits, and over and over and over, these companies, they survive, they do well, and then they fall by the wayside. Even in the 37 years that I've been in the stock market, I would venture to say that the number of stocks in the Dow Jones in 30 industrial averages probably lost half of its components to some other corporation, and maybe more than that. So it's the nature of society to change, and you have to be able to change with it. The fact that you have experience gives you a tremendous advantage over those people that have no idea what's happening to them. So if you are an older person that can become, that you are physiologically and emotionally viable, or can become by coming on the machines, your capacity to survive is actually better than a young person who may very well go on drugs, commit suicide, get into a traffic accident, or any other way that people have of eliminating themselves from the competition. You've been through all that. You've been a survivor, and you have certain survival skills that other people don't have, one of which is just patience. Patience